Hair, Love, Radio.
You're listening to Hair Love Radio, where we get into the nitty-gritty of what it takes to make your dreams a reality, start unlocking your potential, and live your best life, helping hairstylists, creatives, and girl bosses spread their awesome and light like confetti. You were made for awesome. Hi, welcome to Hair Love Radio. I am your host, Elizabeth Faye, and this is our first episode. We are so excited to be here. Thank you so much for listening. Welcome to the tribe. We have so much in store. We have been looking forward to this podcast, and we are looking forward to connecting with you, sharing what we have in store, and getting to know you better, and hopefully giving you so much content that can help you live your best life, unlock your awesome, and help you learn something or be inspired or just zen you out on your morning drive, whether it be to yoga, to drop the kiddos off at school, or on your way to slay hair at the salon. What can you expect from Hair Love Radio? So, we will be bringing you episodes every single week, and we will be working in-house with our team to make amazing content for you to help you work on your business, whether it be in marketing or business or on your mental well-being, or help you get in the right money mindset, or teach you techniques, or interviewing some of the brightest and most creative minds in beauty, business, mental health, and all things awesome. So that is what you can expect. Is we are going to bring the heat. We are ready to inspire, and we want you part of our community and tribe. If what we are putting down, you're picking up, we consider you a tribe member. And if any way you want to be involved, we would love to hear from you. So please reach out. Please be involved. This is a community by hairstylists, for hairstylists, by creatives, for creatives, by entrepreneurial women, for other entrepreneurs. So we're here for you. So we want to hear what you want, what you need. We're just excited to be bringing you some light and some love. I'm Elizabeth Faye. I am your host, and you get to hang out with me on this podcast. I am also the founder of Hair Love Retreat and events, and I am also the salon owner of Elizabeth Faye Salon and Elizabeth Faye Education, and a hairstylist, a mommy, an entrepreneurial girl boss for sure, and a lover of life and creative things in general. This company was founded because being in education for almost my entire career now, whether it was being an assistant of an educator or an assistant of someone who is on a show team, working backstage, or teaching in a school, or teaching in salons, or teaching my own salon team, or when I founded my own independent educational company in 2015 and had the pleasure of teaching thousands and thousands of hairstylists around the nation, social media, business, and hair painting, I learned one thing, that the environment we're in makes a huge difference in our learning experience. Where our mind is at determines where we're going to go. So Hair Love Retreat and these events that we're doing, and now, the media and the blog that we have, really was created because I thought things needed to be done a little bit differently. And I wanted to give that not only to myself, but to my hairdresser team and community. And I wanted a space where other people could grow and contribute and collaborate. So Hair Love Retreat started with the idea of growing up. I was this really troubled teen, and I was a high school dropout, and I got into drugs, sent away with families, just lots of craziness, which I will share my story later. But my dad is such a wonderful man, and he would take me out to the mountains, and he would teach me the importance of what we now call unplugging, right? Because we have a phone to unplug. But then it was just kind of like disconnecting from life and our troubles and our thoughts and the day-to-day. And so I would disconnect from all these things. I would disconnect from, maybe the mean words that girls at school were calling me, or the labels that I had put on myself, or the pressures of church and family and friends and all these things that I just felt like I wasn't living up to or fit into. And I would go to this safe place where there was nature and there was fresh air and there was quietness and there was peace. And it was a space of enlightenment, and it was a space of peace, and it was a space where my thoughts could be free to do what they needed to do. And I could hear myself think and learn and be inspired and all of this stuff. And as I have, created these educational companies and lived this fast-paced life on the road and in airplanes, I think back to that place. And I live by a national park. I live in Utah. And so I go to these places and I just was like, man, I just want to drag these hairstylists out here and do what I do in their salons out here. And one day it dawned on me, why in the hell can't I do that? And so I started coming up with this crazy idea of taking hairdressers from around the world, from New York and from LA and Canada and Alaska and the Midwest and all these places, and dragging them into the middle of nowhere in a national park where they didn't really have cell phone service. And we would have fires and we would talk, and it didn't matter if we wore bras or had makeup or anything. And then I would bring in the brightest, most innovative, most creative, inspiring minds together in one spot. Can you imagine the energy that would be there? What frequency level would we all be vibrating on? Holy hell. And this was my dream. And so after years of dreaming of this, I finally got in a position where I was able to do this, and we launched Hair Love Retreat. It was an incredible experience. And we had our first one May 2018, which was earlier this year. And we will have another one May 2019, and so on and so forth. And this fall, today was our first pop-up event, October 1st in Salt Lake City, Blossom into Awesome, where hundreds of hairstylists got together with the intent of growing into our awesomeness. And so at this event, we spoke out about breaking through our fear, breaking up with it, and to realizing that we have always been as awesome as we wanted to be, and it's within us and around us, and all we needed to do was realize it. So that was our first event, and we announced the podcast. Yay! Oh my gosh. So anyways, if you're listening, if you went to the event, we love you so much. It was an amazing experience. Thank you for being a part of it. And something I have found that we all have in common as creatives, entrepreneurs, and hairstylists is connection. Not only do we crave it, but it is such an amazing part of our job. As a hairstylist in particular, we get to connect with people on a level that no other job gets to do. We get to touch people in a way that no one else gets to do. The way that we get to touch them emotionally, physically, mentally, we create these relationships that are very unique to our beauty industry. And it's such an incredible experience. And these connections honestly change lives. I am so passionate about teaching hairstylists to not only be incredible at what they do behind the chair and to focus on their craft and be amazing at it, but to really focus on their mindset as well. Because if you can have a really strong set of craft skills, and you can also have a really strong mindset and business knowledge behind you, you get to focus on what matters most in our career and where we really get to make the biggest impact, and that is connection. So I'm going to share a story with you. It's actually a really big part of my story, and it is the story of how I got into hair in the first place, and it's all because of connection. So I'm from Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm now based out of Utah, and I have a really wild story, which you'll slowly get trickled into these podcasts, but I come from a broken family, and I found my romance in the beauty industry at a very young age. I fell into it at 12 years old. I was a troubled kid who felt like I didn't fit in anywhere. I didn't feel like I was cool. I didn't feel like I was pretty. I didn't feel acknowledged, listened to. And I was doing things to, get attention and find my way. I don't think that we get into trouble because we want to be bad or we want to hurt people. I think we, get into abusive or toxic things because we're trying to heal or band-aid or fix, what's going on inside. And at 12 years old, heavens, I did not have the, ability to be like, I need to see a therapist. And so I was getting into these situations where I was doing drugs, I was running away, I was hanging out with, kids I shouldn't have, much older than me, doing things with boys at a young age I shouldn't have been doing, and I was being sent away to these different schools. And so 11 years old, 12 years old, 13, 14, 15, I was either at a different school every year or I was with a different family. And this was in, an effort to get my life together. And when I was in 7th grade, I was 12 years old. I was sent to this school that I absolutely hated. It was a Christian private school. I just hated it so much. And I remember the teacher smelled like onions. But anyway, so I had gone to Walmart and stolen box color because that's what every genius child does. And I destroyed my beautiful natural level 7 hair. Completely destroyed. And I gave myself an emo haircut, which could only be described as lifting your hair directly up off of your head and cutting it. And so, anyways, lots of layers. So I was kicked out of school. Hooray. The onion-smelling teacher told me I could not come back until my hair looked like a, air quotations, natural color. So sitting on the curb, waiting to be picked up, this lady hands me a card and she's like, hey, you should go to this man named Brandon Holt at the Arc Salon in Mandalay Bay, which was a Robert Cromie salon, to get your hair fixed. This means nothing to me, obviously. So I tell my dad, I'm like, yo, got to get my hair fixed. I know I'm in trouble, but I look like a skunk who got electrocuted. So we go to Mandalay Bay and walk into this, beautiful, expensive salon. And I am stoked to be there. I sit in the chair and immediately I am just treated amazing. I'm listened to. I feel cool. People are talking to me, introducing me to all the other stylists. I feel like I'm like part of this awesome clique, introducing me to other stylists. I feel like I'm part of like the cool kids club and I'm meeting these people and I'm having a great time. So while I'm sitting in the chair, I obviously tell Brandon about how I got my hair ruined and all the trouble I've gotten in, and he listens and we laugh and whatever. And I feel really great when I leave and my dad's happy. And so he goes to check out at the front desk and my dad's jaw drops when he finds out how much it cost. Immediately I get the eyes of like, your ass is grass. And I'm just like beaming from ear to ear, like, whatever you want me to do. Like, I'm so sorry, but like, I don't even care. So I go home and I do whatever 12-year-olds do to work off the money. So all these chores, and then I continued to do more extra chores so I can get money to go back. So 6 months later, I go back to the salon, I sit in Brandon's chair, and I put the money on the table. And I tell him, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, my dad is really mad at you, but I saved up some money, so I'm back. What can I get for this much? He looks at me and he says, put your money away. And he goes over and talks to my dad. And the whole time I'm like really sure I'm in trouble. And he comes back with my dad and he says, so we've made a deal, Elizabeth. You're going to bring in your report cards with better grades on it, and I'm going to do your hair and trade for that. Does that sound like a deal? And I was silent. That was one of the nicest things anybody had ever done for me. He made me feel something. He was giving me the gift of feeling cool, feeling beautiful, feel like I fit in, all in trade for me living up to my potential. And it pushed me to do that. So I came back in when the quarter was over and I brought my report card. And I made an appointment to get my hair done again. And I brought in the report card and I sat in the chair. So Brandon could have stopped here. He used his power behind the chair to help me unlock something inside of myself, to help me feel something that no one else could have made me feel. And he didn't stop. He did it for me until I was 16 years old. And now that I am, a single mom and I have this kid and I have a salon and all these companies and I'm crying. What a wonderful gift he gave me. He didn't have to do that. We have so many other things to do. And so often we call them better things, right? We have yoga, we have, we have bars, we have friends, we have shopping, we have kids, we have pets, all this stuff. And he slowed it down and he said, hey, I live once and I have a lot of power and I'm going to use it for good. And he used his chair to change my life. And it's such a simple thing he did, but it affected me in such a large way. And now I get to affect other people. So I want you guys to know, even if you're not a hairstylist, but especially if you're a hairstylist, you guys, we have such a fucking cool career, and you have so much power every day to do so much good in this world just by doing people's hair. And it's not about the hair, you know? And I know that we're told it's about the hair, it's about the hair, it's about the hair. So get really good at your craft and enjoy it and be creative and get really good at your business. But what it's about is it's about human connection. It's about making people feel something. And you don't get that opportunity to do that to your full potential unless you're amazing at what you do. And to be amazing at what you do takes fucking discipline, responsibility, goal setting, education, right? Those things unlock your power and potential to touch and affect people's life in a bigger way. That 12-year-old girl who hated herself, who questioned if she was worthy of being alive, is now a strong, powerful single mother and a leader of a company that helps other people feel the same way every day. That is the power you have within you and surrounding you. And I want every single one of you listening to know that you were born for greatness and you were born to be a do-gooder and you are amazing. And it just takes putting your mind to it and giving yourself the opportunity to do so. On this podcast, we want to teach you practical things that you can use to actually grow and scale your business and share inspiring stories with you of others who have gone through the ringer and back and been able to achieve their dreams and create love, light, balance, and success in their life. I'm going to leave you with this note. I share my story because when we share our stories, it gives other people the permission to allow themselves to share their stories and do what it takes to start living their best lives. I'm a high school dropout. I failed my cosmetology license 4 times. I was an extremely troubled teen, sent to live with different families and schools. I've been fired from almost every single job I've ever had until I found my calling. I always felt like the black sheep in my family. I'm a divorced single mom. The first time I opened a studio salon, it was a living debt nightmare. I've made more mistakes than I've had successes. Most of the people closest to me have thought my dreams were absolutely crazy and made fun of me for years. Shall I go on? The genius thing I did, and the genius thing you can do, is to not give up and to never give up. If you think for a second that you weren't born with a golden spoon in your mouth, you're too tired, or the odds are just not in your favor, or you're not worthy of the happiness and success that you see others having, I promise you, you can make, create, and live whatever life you desire. If you work your ass off, attend lots of education, meditate, read books, have mentors, listen more than you talk, sacrifice sleep and fun when necessary, keep your eye on the prize, even when others think you're nuts. Follow your gut and do it with passion. If you believe in what you're doing, then keep doing it. The money will follow. ... eventually.
Hair, love, radio.
Thank you so much for being here and listening to Hair Love Radio. We hair love you. It's your host, Elizabeth Faye, and I'll see you later.
Radio.